We're back, I'm Black, and this is another video just talking about the Steam frame as of right now. I almost call it the Steam Deck, where I wanted to just expand a little bit on this. It's just going to be a short little explanation on terms of what the actual Steam frame is, my expectations, the shit that I'm excited for, and whether or not maybe I'll just be like showcasing a couple of clips too, but I'm just so excited in terms of what this headset could do for VR and PC VR and just everything in general.
That outside
I think Linus Tech Tips did like a video the other day on it, which has been really cool for him to like break down everything that this headset's offering, all the specs that it has, the capabilities that it has, and like the comparisons with other VR headsets as well. But the biggest thing for me at the very least is the fact that one, Steam, I feel like because Steam is a private company, not necessarily pressured by like big backers, in order to like, you know, generate huge funds, they kind of just make shit when they want to, and it's usually always of quality. I think Moist Critical made a video on it not too long ago where it was talking about Steam being a monopoly, but I very much have to agree with the opinion of, I think that's one of the few monopolies that I feel like most people don't really feel bad about, because they're a monopoly, not because they're destroying the competition through like acquisitions or throwing money at the problem and hoping that it fixes itself, but because they're actually making a solid fucking product. Steam has been running the game for a number of years, for so long as of right now, so far at the best quality in comparison to their competitors, which has just been great. Like, I can't do anything but dick ride Steam, I'm gonna be real here. From the services, from the response time to their customer service, which is insane, because I feel like once a lot of companies make it big, what I'm seeing is a huge shift in like AI customer service, where like I was basically dicked around by Facebook for like a number of months because I lost my account and I couldn't speak to a person unless things were escalated so heavily after a very long period of time. Steam, you tell them some shit's wrong, they're gonna hunt down this person by their IP address, drag them by their balls, metaphorically, and get the problem solved overnight. Like, they're so quick on that sort of shit. It's insane. Steam has always been top quality. Now, less dick riding, more focusing on the actual product itself. This is just gonna be a short video. The Steam frame themselves. This is a wireless, seems like a very lightweight VR helmet, but also has the capabilities of basically being a Steam Deck because it's a computer within itself, which is insane. You're able to play non-VR and VR games overall, which is so fucking cool. Basically just like having a mini TV everywhere you go. It's basically the same as when you click the option button on your controller and then the in-headset menu comes up. You just have a screen, a virtual screen or a virtual monitor that you're able to use throughout your VR headset. Along with that, everything seems lightweight, compact, and powerful, which is something that Meta has definitely run the game for quite a while, just because they're known as like the most consumer friendly, comfortable, not so much with the head straps, but just like, since I'm using the Vive, that shit's heavy, right? I know that the Quest is a lot more lightweight and a lot more comfortable. And I think even with the Valve Index, it can be like a heavy set headset, but it is also powerful. I think it's one of the nicest looking ones as of right now, except for like the big screen beyond, but like this is a huge step up for them. And I believe everything is powered through this wireless adapter, but like, oh, they also have, okay, they have pancake lenses as well. But it's a nice way. The one thing that I'm actually really excited for right here is the fact that a lot of the time with a lot of controllers, Steam has been the only one to really factor in individual finger tracking. And I'm very happy that this controller still has that element, because I feel like that is a thing that even since the Valve Knuckles, and they have the stick drift issue, yes, mine's currently having that as of right now consistently, but ever since the Valve Index, I would have thought that other companies would try to strive for this sort of thing. You don't usually see it anywhere else. So it looks like they took inspiration from Meta's controllers, but then also still kept their signature individual finger tracking and all sorts of their typical Steam or Valve quirkiness, which is just so fire. So then it also has inputs for VR games as well as non-VR games, which I feel like helps blend the gray areas and kind of brings non-VR and VR closer. It's a very good move for them overall, is the fact that I think VR feels so out of reach for a lot of people. Don't get me wrong, there's been millions of units sold. They're they've hit astronomical numbers in terms of getting people into VR, but a lot of the time headsets are just lying collecting dust. I feel like this is a way to kind of bring those communities closer by inputting VR functionality and capabilities and non-VR things. I was already debating getting a Steam Deck as of right now, but now I'm probably not, and this is just going to be that Steam Deck. The thing that did surprise me though is, and I'm not necessarily a hater on this, I'm just kind of surprised that they actually were using AA batteries, because the other controllers have always just had charges within them anyways, but hey, it's 40 hours of playtime, so I mean, I feel like that's more than enough. So the fact that it actually supports standalone play, it feels like the first big competitor against Meta. And I feel like that is so needed just because so much of the attention has been getting ripped away from PC VR games that I feel like it's a really, really good thing for them to help bring the attention back, right? The thing that I'll give Meta as of right now is the fact that it is consumer friendly and price friendly, because you can get a Quest for the typical price of a console, right? I already know looking at this shit's probably going to be like $1,400, $1,500 US. I don't think there's been a definitive price put down yet, but just because of all the capabilities it has, it's basically combining their Steam Deck as well as VR and like blending it closer and closer. It's going to be very, very expensive, is my guess, right? Like, you essentially won't even need a PC to be able to run this. Granted, a PC will make this run better and you probably have a lot more capabilities if you do have a powerful PC, but like, this is standalone. This is wireless, this is comfortable, this is so much. But back on the individual finger tracking as well, I'm actually really happy because it helps me personally with my immersion in games. And I feel like with these more smaller, compact controllers, it helps you feel immersed that much more. It's like a gamepad, but at the same time, you feel like you have all the typical Steam things that you would like in VR. There's also a developer kit, nice. Here's some of the dimensions for it as of right now, the tech specs, which I'm not necessarily an expert in, but I mean, like, for those of you can feel free to pause the video. I feel like there's just a lot of really cool things here. There's actually eye tracking shit too. Nice, okay. Because that's one thing that I feel like PSVR really took the first step on when it came to like the PSVR. I don't know if it was in the first one. I know it's on the PSVR 2 helmet, but eye tracking wasn't necessarily, maybe it wasn't PSVR, maybe it was Meta first. Was PSVR before Meta 3? Because I feel like PSVR took the first thing and then Meta 3 might have it. I don't necessarily remember. But that's actually a really nice thing to have. A micro SD card slot too, shit. Makes sense since it is a standalone headset. So then here are a lot of some of the dimensions as of right now, where you can get like a large amount of storage, and then, you know, you can have a micro SD for expansion, of course. Starting off on 256 gigabytes to 1 terabyte. But I feel like if you have a PC, you're probably good with the 256 megabyte or gigabyte, because you'll just be grabbing off your Steam VR games anyways. So it has a lot of very, very nice features. And I think that this headset as of right now is going to help VR tremendously, right? Because they're blending in, as I said previously, they're blending in the worlds of non-VR and VR significantly closer, more than any other headset has ever done as a start. 2, I feel like they're helping slowly revive the identity of PC VR, because over the past bit, Meta has been monopolizing the ever living shit out of the VR industry, which has had its benefits because it brings a lot more attention to it, since I guess Meta is a reputable company to investors and shit like that. But at the same time, it has downgraded a lot of the quality of the games that you see, which is not necessarily a dig at Meta. I just know that the headset itself doesn't necessarily carry a lot of the capabilities that Steam VR has, obviously because that shit's connected directly to a PC, right? In terms of the graphic fidelity, in terms of the game functions and all that sort of stuff. But ideally, everybody tries to shift their focus and attention to Meta because that's what makes the most money, because that's where the most people are. But I feel like if this helps shift people's attention towards Steam VR, or not even Steam VR, but PC VR, then that might inspire other developers and creators to actually try and push the technology as much as they possibly can, as opposed to just going for the status quo because that's where the most people are and it generates the most money. I'm not shitting on people that try to aim towards, you know, making their stuff for Meta. But it feels like Steam really wants to kind of take the narrative and like take the first steps on really, really making something big here. Or Valve, sorry. Steam? Valve? Whatever. Like, I'm trying to think, one of the most impactful games on VR is Half-Life Alyx, right? in terms of what it brought by the time it came out, because that game came out in 2020 and it was seen as one of the most revolutionary, outstanding games to date on VR, and it still kind of carries that reputation nowadays. But one of the most popular games on VR is shit like Gorilla Tag or VR Chat, which, although those games are fun and you could sink an insane amount of hours in, they don't really help innovate on the technology that we already have. This product, I believe, does. And even from friends that I'm not necessarily knowledgeable about, this, I believe, makes Linux OS mainstream or something along the lines of that, which apparently is huge for the open source community. I feel like Steam has helped bring so many people together in terms of the product that they're bringing, that although it's probably at an absurd price point, you're getting what you pay for, which is going to be quality. So odds are my first headset upgrade was originally maybe going to be a Quest 3. Maybe I'll still get that. I'm not necessarily certain, but this might be the step that I take, which for me, from a fucking HTC Vive, is going to be a significant step from everything I know. Graphically, functionally, sexually. I don't fucking know. It's gonna be crazy though. So far, from what I'm seeing, in terms of what this headset has to offer, I'm extremely excited, and I hate the idea of being overhyped, but this is one of those times where I feel like it's completely justified. If you haven't already, make sure to check out Linus Tech Tips videos, because he really goes in depth on to what this headset has to offer and the capabilities it has. But I feel like this is immediately going to make Meta go like, we need to make another headset fucking ASAP, because there's so much shit that this is offering as of right now that is way out of our wheelhouse, that is pushing the capabilities of what VR can be. They're a monopoly for a reason. It's because they make good shit. But so far, I'm gonna keep updates on this sort of thing. I'm extremely excited for this headset. This is just a short little video talking about it, and I appreciate you for leave.